Hi, my little angels. Come on in. Everyone, come in. Oh, you guys look tired. Come in. Let me help you sleep, okay? Come on. Come around me, all right? I want to see you all. I want to see those smiling faces. Yeah, when you're tired, it's hard to smile. I know that. But let me help you anyways, okay? Good. And I have room for everybody. We've got the big comfy rocking chair that fits two. There's a hammock over there. I can put 3 of you on that. 4 if you know each other well. And we've got cushions and meditation pads, and the couch is free tonight. And I've got a big comfy tub chair right there. Awesome. And if you're cool, you can grab some throws. I've got a bunch piled up over there in the corner. Anyone will do. Help yourself. Okay. And I see some new angels. Hi, new angels. How are you? Let me just fix that. I'm so glad that you decided to come visit. You know, you can like this channel and you can share it. Sharing is caring. You can also comment. Comments are amazing. I love watching you all interact with each other. I love interacting with you. I love knowing what you think. I love your video suggestions, everything. And when we interact like that, we connect. And when we connect, we make this great big world a little bit smaller. And that's a really good thing. I'm just fixing my mic. And I see my returning angels too. Hi, guys. Hi. I'm so happy that you came back. Please keep those comments coming. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support that you give me. It means the world to me. And I do have some new stickers. The new stickers came in, and some new angel medallions. Now what that is, you guys, this is actually the very last one of this kind, but they're pretty similar. I have very similar. And how you get one of these, and we're doing a card exchange. We did it during the holidays. We do postcards all year, but my birthday is May 31st. So if you want to send me a card, I will send you an Angel on My Shoulder ASMR postcard with some stickers and one of those angels. And you can put it in your pocket, your car, your backpack, wherever you want to put it. Okay, so shall we get into the video? Okay, tonight's video is going to be a read to you video. And don't worry, yes, I know, we're going to do the breathing. But I have a new book, a new Chicken Soup for the Soul book, Kindness Matters. And the reason we pick these books, guys, is they have no illustrations. So when I'm reading, you can just zone out, close your eyes. You don't even have to look at the screen, because I'll be looking down reading. And for those new people that are here, I don't pre-select the stories. What we do is, I have faith, you can have your own faith, but I open this up and I know that I'm going to land on the story that one of you or more needs to hear tonight. Maybe it's you. And this is 101 Feel-Good Stories of Compassion and Paying It Forward by Amy Newmark. And I did get this on Amazon, guys. So, what we were talking about earlier about breathing, and this is more for the new people or the ones that haven't been in a while. We do a breathing technique in order to help ourselves relax. And we do this technique when we want to relax, when we want to rest, when we just need to get control of a moment, or when we just need to take a moment for ourselves. It's okay to do that, guys. It really is. So what we do is we breathe in through our nose for a count of 4, and then we gently hold it for a count of 4, and then we breathe out through pursed lips for a count of 4. If you can only do 1 or 2, that's okay. You do that, okay? That's what I want. Everyone's doing just the very best that they can, and we all grow at different rates. We're all works in progress. Okay, so shall we begin together? Okay, everybody breathe in Hold it. And out. Excellent. You did great. Okay, breathe in. Hold. And out. Look at you. You moved up to 2. You were only on 1 before. I'm so proud of you. Okay, last one together. Breathe in. Hold it. And out. Good. And we do this so that our brain, who is the command central, sends the message to the rest of our body. It's time to slow down. Now, make sure your lighting is the way that you like it. You can have night lights. You can have a little bit of light. You can have no light. You can have bright lights. You can even wear a sleep mask. Auntie Angel has one rule, and my returning angels know. What is it? That's right. No lit candles. Not when you're trying to relax or rest. You could fall asleep, and that's dangerous. So feel free to use these electric candles. I have other battery operated candles. Just no lit candles, okay? You guys are too important to me. Okay, I'm just gonna have a drink so that my throat isn't dry. Okay, and I'm gonna get my glasses on. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna open it up. You guys settle in. Keep doing your breathing if you need to. Okay, this one is called Grumpy Old Mr. Roberts. And it always begins with a quote. And this one says, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted." And that's by Aesop. Okay, looking out of the window of our new house, I was impressed with the colorful leaves that had dropped onto our lawn from the neighbor's gigantic, ancient beech tree. I noticed an older gentleman raking in his yard. And that morning, while my son and I were having a quiet, lazy breakfast, feeling energized by the coolness of the fall, I called my son to come outside with me. We grabbed our jackets and we looked for our rakes among the boxes that were freshly unpacked and piled in the garage. We both loved having a yard of our own, and we cheerfully started to rake. I saw the old man leave his house and get into his car. I waved happily at him, smiling, while he simply glared before turning his back. That seems unfriendly," my 10-year-old stated. I threw some leaves at him and he gleefully retaliated. 2 boys stopped by, introducing themselves to my son as our neighbors. They were both brothers. The boys hit it off immediately and took turns with our rakes, making gloriously large piles of leaves on our side of our property line. They warned us that grumpy old Mr. Roberts hated children, and they were careful to stay away from his yard. The boys told us that they were walking to the school bus one day, and on a whim they jumped into a pile of leaves that grumpy old Mr. Roberts had raked into a sweet mountain right next to the bus pickup. The old man had hidden some dog poo in the leaves, and they spotted him chortling behind a curtain in the window as he watched them discover the nasty surprise. The boys had to go home and change, and it made them miss their ride. "I guess he doesn't want anyone to jump in his leaves, eh?" I observed. With a roll of their eyes, they said, "He doesn't want anyone in his life." After some hot chocolate and donuts, the boys said their goodbyes, and they promised to show my son around the neighborhood soon. The next day, the boy's mother, Carol, came over bearing a gift basket filled with goodies and hot chocolate. The subject of old Mr. Roberts came up, and she gave me a bit of neighborhood history concerning himself. "Everyone just left him alone," she told me. "They consider him surly and unpleasant. She warned me that I should just ignore him and not go looking for trouble. After she was gone, I wondered how I would feel, knowing I was getting old and being so alone. My son and I decided we would try and befriend him. We put some goodies from the welcome basket on a plate to take over to him. We knocked twice and put big smiles on our faces. Grumpy old Mr. Roberts answered with a "What do you want?" as if we were selling him something. We introduced ourselves to him and offered him the plate of cookies. He gave a little growl and slammed the door in our face. My son was indignant. But by the time we reached our front door, we both decided he was sad and angry for some reason, and it had absolutely nothing to do with us. A few days later, it was time to do some more raking. The neighbor's beech tree had dropped so many leaves that we could not tell where the yard belonged to whom. We finished our yard, but our pile could have been bigger, so on a whim, I walked firmly over to grumpy old Mr. Roberts' door and knocked. When he came to the door this time, I didn't give him a chance to growl. I just blurted out, "May we rake your yard?" He looked quite surprised and he said, "I suppose so, but I won't be paying you anything." I assured him we would never ask for money. The neighbor boys came over just as we started to rake, and they ran home to get their rakes. The four of us finished grumpy old Mr. Roberts' yard in record time, with only a little leaf-throwing fight. There was a lot of laughter and chatter. I told the boys to rake it all into our yard to add to our leaf pile, creating the largest mountain of orange, brown, and yellow leaves we ever saw. The boys were exhausted and promised to come back the next day when we were going to have a pile-in and play in the leaves. The next day was a beautiful Saturday with clear skies. It was warm enough to leave our jackets inside. My son took his time finishing breakfast and doing his chores, and we were just sitting down to lunch when we heard the scariest sound, like growling and then screams just outside. We looked at each other in shock, and we both raced to the porch to see what catastrophe had befallen. Well, there, in the huge mountain of leaves, floundered the two neighborhood boys, squealing in delight. Then up popped a third head, a grizzled, gray-haired head. There was our grumpy old neighbor, pretending to swim in the leaves. He was laughing so hard he couldn't even speak. That was the day we said goodbye to grumpy old Mr. Roberts, and hello to our friend, Mr. Roberts. Sherry Negus. I love that. And it's true what a little kindness can do. So let's go closer to the front this time. Oh, this is a short one. We might even get 3 in tonight. This one is called Woe Is Me. And the quotation is from Jean-Jacques Rousseau. What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness? Oh, I like that. And this story is by David Hull. It was Tuesday morning, but it was the Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend, so theoretically it was like Monday, the start of a new week. Since my 3-day weekend had been busier than a regular length weekend, I was more tired than usual, and it was time to go to work. And it was raining. I grumbled about my misfortune. This day is terrible. What an awful morning. Things are so bad for me. The weather is miserable, and so am I. As I stepped out of the front door, a gust of wind twisted my umbrella inside out. I decided to run through the cold downpour to the car, but I didn't see the ankle-deep puddle until after I stepped into it. It was time for more complaining. Now I was damp and late for work. The car stalled twice before I could back out of the driveway, and I had forgotten to replace that worn-out wiper blade. Time for more complaints. The traffic on the expressway was bumper to bumper. A horn honked. Someone thought I wasn't going fast enough. I would have listened to the traffic report on the radio, but it was broken. Woe is me. Finally,
After managing to navigate my route through the traffic and onto the exit ramp, I decided to stop at that little coffee shop near work for a cup of coffee. You know what? Make that a large cup of coffee. The line of cars at the drive-thru was stretched all around the parking lot. So I figured it would be faster if I just got out of the car and went inside. I sighed impatiently as I waited in line until I reached the counter, where I ignored the friendly greeting from the barista. I was too busy with my complaining and the feeling sorry for myself. I ordered my favorite, a caramel hazelnut coffee, extra cream, no sugar. My order was served and I moved to the register. That's when I realized I'd left my wallet at home. More woe is me. Hey, it's no problem, said the man waiting behind me in line. He smiled and pulled out his wallet. I'll pay for you. I'm already late for work. It'll be faster anyway if I pay for both of our coffees. His hair and shoulders were damp from the rain and his shoes were wet. Please add this gentleman's coffee to my order, he told the cashier. Really? This man who was damp like me and late like me was not too busy complaining, unlike me, was reaching out and offering to buy me a coffee. Oh, thank you very much, I said gratefully. I'm having one of those mornings. I know how that is, the man replied sincerely. Enjoy your coffee and try to have a better day. I've been back to that little coffee shop many, many times since then, and I've never seen the man again. But thanks to the kindness of a guy with damp hair and wet shoes, I've learned to keep my internal complaining to a minimum and to be grateful for the kindness that can come in the most unexpected places. I like that. I love doing that for people, actually. I do it a lot on Sundays after we go to church. We generally will go to our coffee shop, Tim Hortons, and in the drive-thru, and I'll get the person behind us. It makes me feel good, and it makes them feel good. So I think we have time for one more. What do you guys think? I still see a few of you still awake. Close your eyes. All right. This one is called The Long Flight Home, and the quotation is by Anthony J. D'Angelo. Without a sense of caring, there can be no sense of community. We'd had it all figured out. On discovering our family of 5 couldn't sit together on our flight home, my husband and I had gone back and forth, trying out different combinations. Who would sit where in the 2 up front, 3 in the back seating we'd been allocated. We considered how we'd board, carrying a tired toddler and 5 pieces of hand luggage between us, juggling our 2 older children. Finally, we decided my husband up front with our older son, our daughter, younger son, and myself in the rear. 3 seats in row 29. We boarded near to last due to our younger son's learning disabilities. Thankful he wouldn't have to sit for longer than necessary in the cramped cabin. We settled our older son at the front and then slowly shuffled to the back of the plane. My husband searched through our already stuffed overhead lockers, trying to find room for our bags. And that's when he's noticed. There's a problem with these seats, he said. There weren't 3 seats in row 29 after all. There was 1 in row 28 and 2 in row 29. No matter. Only it did matter, because it turned out that the seats were all singles. Fine for my daughter, but what about my son? He was to sit behind me, diagonally across the aisle, out of sight, out of reach. My heart sank. I called to the flight attendants. I'm sorry, I said, my voice cracking. I can't fly like this. Seats across the aisle are classed as next to each other, said one, as if that would help me. But they're not next to each other. One is behind the other across the aisle. My son is only 3. He's disabled. I can't leave him by himself. He has Down syndrome and he needs to sit with me. The aisle looked like a gaping chasm. How could I possibly tend him when I couldn't even see him? How could he sit by himself for 3.5 hours? My son was nothing like the average 3-year-old. A non-speaker, he relies on his hands to do the talking for him. He needs a sign reader to interpret what his hands are saying, one who understands him. He gets rattled by unexpected loud sounds. On the way out, the pilot's announcements reduced him to tears. We had to cover his ears and hold his gaze to help him get through it. This would never do. Another mother looked over, recognition in her eye. She had her own young brood with her. Perhaps she'd been in a similar situation and she knew how it felt. The flight attendants glanced at each other, murmured their understanding, but offered no solution. Panicking, I scanned the cabin, wondering where else we could sit. There were no spare seats. The plane is preparing for takeoff. Please sit down. I felt sick. I felt impatient eyes burrowing into my back. But I couldn't fly like this. What to do, what to do, what to do. There was no way around, but I couldn't bring myself to strap my son into a far-off seat. Before I resigned myself to putting him into a lonely seat, a good-hearted couple stood up, unbidden. They simply stood. They wordlessly offered their seats to me. I could have cried. I think I did. I couldn't thank them enough. Slowly my breathing returned to normal. My mind and my stomach stopped churning. I leaned over, helped my son get comfy into the seat next to me, and I got ready for the long flight home. Angela Dawson. All right, my little angels. I want you all to drift off now. And I want you to know that you're going to have the sweetest of dreams. And you're going to wake up refreshed, relaxed, and with an energized sense of optimism. And I want you to always remember, I love you, I value you, I honor you, and I'm so very glad that you were born.